Yeah, but he just asked me a question and then went live.
That's what I do, son. Fuck yeah.
Dick.
Yeah, well, that's fact. It's hashtag facts. So what we'll do, as we are known to do for these videos, is let you guys kind of simmer a little bit. Let you saunter in. It's like a concert. You know, you kind of, it's not like you walk in, you sit right down in your concert seat, you kind of dribble in, get your bearings, look around, be like, oh, where are the fire exits? Are there any kind of concession stands? Where's the merch table? And then you kind of fiddle around, maybe grab a beverage or 9, and then get yourself a little bit of snacky poo. And eventually you work yourself down to the area where you can sit and enjoy your concert and whatnot. So you need a little bit of time. So I took a weebie. I'm drinking a very dark version of a beer that is like blue blocker level, like yellow. And he's still sucking on that Libertine. I could take it or leave the Libertine. Awesome. It's good. It's quite good, but it's not a beer that I'm in the mood for. That was what I was trying to say earlier. It's not so much that I didn't like it. It's a beer I need to be in the mood for. Yeah. You know, whereas this, I could be in a horrible fucking mood. And I can be like, I hate life. Oh, wait, this is now life is awesome because I'm drinking this. Like, that's where this lit.
I'm kind of disappointed that this isn't like a lighter beer.
Yeah.
For anybody tuning in. But this is the kind of beer that I could pretty much drink whenever. Not that I'm always into like sour-ish beers, but like
I actually really do enjoy when somebody tosses out like a dark sour, like a sour stout or something like that.
And they don't even say dark sour.
Yeah, we had no idea it was dark until we cracked it. Because even though it's a brown bottle, you can get some, like, you could see through it. Sometimes you can't tell. But it was, let's put it this way. I think this is the second or third Libertine I've had. The other one I think you shared with me. I think it's the second. The other one I liked quite a bit more.
Yeah, that was like a peach or an apricot or something.
Yeah, and
that was really good.
That was really good. But it's not so much that this one is bad. It's the other one was really good. You know what I mean? Like, this one's good. The other one's really fucking good. So in this video here, what we're going to do is we're going to go through my personal best Shelfies of the year. For those that don't know what Shelfies are, they're basically beers you guys can actually get off of a shelf.
They're all Hill Farmstead.
Yeah,
technically
they put their beers on shelves. Yeah, they're beers you can get.
Technically not at the brewery.
No,
like close to.
So they're beers you guys can actually get if you actually live in their distribution footprint. This is not going to be a list for everybody. There's lists on here. There's beers on here that I actually can't get in my regional area, but I know the fact that they're widely distributed across the country. So it's just a beer that is generally something that is decently readily attainable, not from the brewery. That's the blanket kind of shroud moniker, whatever you want to call it, with these beers. So if you're like, oh, I can't get that beer, this list is bullshit. Well, you know what? You're bullshit.
I'm looking at the list, and the list is bullshit.
Well, yeah. No, there's shit on here he likes. So anyway, so we'll do that. We'll give it a couple more minutes. I just banged my toe, so it hurts really bad. And let Keith chug that because we're going to drink a couple beers here. This one will probably be a little bit longer. What we'll do for this is that we'll go through a list. We'll do the same thing. We'll jump into the comments, kind of go back and forth, stuff like that. And then at the end of this, we'll probably let the live stream go for a little bit, drink a couple beers, kind of talk about like random bullshit and say all that stuff. Hatchie Malachi chimes in and actually says, can you get these beers in New Jersey? Off this list, you can get 1, 2, 3, 4, I would say 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. I would no 8, 9. I would say 9 of these beers you can get in Jersey. There's a little bit like depending on where you live, because there's one I think is only in New York, but it's like literally the second you step over New York State, you can get it. So almost all these you can get in New Jersey. So that's kind of how Shelfies work. There's one I've never seen on shelves in PA, New York, New Jersey, but I know for a fact it's widely distroed. So I put it on the list because I enjoyed it that much. So take that for what it's worth. But almost all these are kind of readily available. So
yeah, some of them might be. You might have to search for a couple of them.
That's why they don't call him the best color man in the business. Anyway, that's just Geese like, go fuck yourself. Anyway, give it a couple more minutes and then we'll dive into it. So you did your top 5 list. You saw my top 30 list. Was there anything that you can remember that I reviewed out of all those beers? You'd be like, I thought that was going to be in your list. I know it's a really hard thing to answer because I'm like,
knowing,
like, is there something that I reviewed last year that you're like, I can't believe you didn't include that in the list? Because I know Keith watches a good portion of it, but it's also very hard to recall something like that.
Not that I can think of. I would say that. So my top 5 was the Mortalis, As Above, So Below, King Julius, Treehouse,
which I reviewed. Didn't make a list though.
Really?
Yeah.
And
sidebar, really quick. I actually, it's going to come up. It's probably going to come up this Monday. I'm going to put up 2 mystery beer reviews, and I'm doing 3. I'm going to post 2 videos, and it's going to be green versus very green versus green,
yeah.
and Julius versus King Julius.
I was hoping you were going to save one of those for today, but.
Well, hope you put that shit in your hand, see how much fucking you got. And I'm going to post those. Basically, what those are, and this is set up very, very cool. This is actually a really cool thing that Max did. Is that basically I'm going to do a mystery beer review of Green and Julius and all its brethren. I know what they are, so I know there's green and Gaga Green and green and very green and Julius and Julius and King Julius, but I don't know which ones they are. So that'll be going up this Monday. Anyway, go ahead.
I forget what the third one was. There were 3, and then I said the rest were lager. So it was King Julius, the Mortalis, and probably the maybe it was the table beer from Side Project. But I think the other 2 are probably on this table right now.
Yeah.
At least one of them is this
Fox Farm Stout.
Yeah.
As far as comments go, real quick, but that wasn't the question I asked. I was like, what beers I reviewed that you were like, oh, I thought this would be on your list.
I can't remember.
He can't recall. That's fine. Let's see. Hatchy Malachi saying a whole bunch of shit. Excited for this one, all that stuff. Okay, Kent Beer Reviews. Ever had anything from Cape May Brewing Company? I'm actually really interested to see why you asked that, Craig, because he's in England. Do you guys get Cape May Brewing out in England? Is it something that you guys can get?
That's not.
Oh, he actually says later on he doesn't make it to the UK. I like Cape May Brewing. They make
not what's the Kent Falls. Where that's not Kent Falls.
No, this is Kent Beer Reviews. He's from England.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
sorry.
Yeah, and Cape May Brewing, I actually dig their beers. I actually think Hatchy Malachi actually says that their coastal evacuation, good Cape May beer, all that kind of stuff. Where they really do shine, and I think this actually comes from the lineage of the brewery themselves, because they make really nice stuff. They make a really nice lager, they make some really fun hazies, they make all kinds of stuff. But where I think they really shine is their sour program. They make some really amazing, really well done sour beers in like 750 format, the whole 9. You can go back and watch some of the reviews I've done. I'm lucky enough to have, they send out beers every now and then, and their stouts are actually pretty good too. But I'm a fan. I like Cape May Brewing. Oddly enough, I've never been there, and it's going to be a little bit of time before I get there, because Cape May Brewing is as like you have to go to the bottom of New Jersey, and it's like there's nothing else but Cape May, and it's not like you're at Cape May and you're like, okay, I'm going to keep going west or east or south. No, it's like this. So you go to Cape May, or you're going nowhere. You can take a ferry from like Cape May to like Delaware or some shit like that, but then it costs like $80 for your car and all this bullshit. So it's like I haven't been there. I will go there, but it's like you're going. It's not like you're like, oh, let's go this area and go to these 5 places. You're like, no, we're going to Cape May and that's it.
Do you know if there's any breweries on there?
Yeah, there's a bunch.
Oh,
and you can actually take the ferry over. I think you go to Rehoboth. You go from there to Rehoboth.
Well,
so
Dogfish Head.
Yeah, you can take a bunch of Sam Adams technically. No, Sam Adams bottom, you know. But you could take the ferry over to that area, and then you have a bunch of breweries down that way. But anyway, I like Cape May. Let's put it that way. Anyway, that's it. We're gonna dive into it. We're 10 minutes in. We're gonna dive into the best Shelfies. The best Shelfies this guy can get and review, or have reviewed, and other people can get of the year. So first off, again, we're going to do this in order, beers that are reviewed. The first one might be a little bit out of order because I actually saw it and I forgot to tick it, so we'll put it in there. That's Old Nation Brewing. It's their M43, New England style IPA. I mean, it is probably one of, if not the best, Shelfie New England style IPAs you can drink. They're in the bottom there. See right there. I mean, Old Nation Brewery. I mean, it's delicious. It's probably, like I said, if you're looking for.
Oh, actually, I lied. I have had it. I've had it here, but it was in a mix of beers, so I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, when I show you the label.
No, I know what it looks like. I know.
Yeah, it's like white. It's like.
No,
it looks like that. You know, that's probably just one of the better. Shelfie hazies you can get, and we started getting that probably around just before maybe midsummer in Jersey, and that has been kind of drips and drabs the whole time. So it's something like if I went to a bottle shop and I was like, okay, I just want a New England style IPA, I want to be happy, and I just want to know I'm going to come home with something really well done. That's one I would pick up. I forget the ABV on it. What's the ABV on this again?
I think it was a little lower, right? 6.5.
I have the Omnipotent Untapped open, which shows me 6.8%. I really dug that beer. I thought it was one of the better Shelfies done this year. And Joe would actually kind of chime in and say, did someone say Shelfies, by the way, an hour later? And I still dig me some Keith.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's your Shelfie.
Thanks, Joe.
Beer video reviewer. He's like, if I was going to pick a Shelfie YouTuber, beer tuber, it'd be Keith, because I could just consume him at any portion of time for as much as I would like. And
Joe, I'm going to come up to Buffalo and do some.
He's going to come up to Buffalo and
beer
and Ruffalo with you. And Ruffalo with you.
Buffalo, but only if you have a shelf for me to sleep on. Because I love me some Shelfies sleeps things.
He's good at words. He's so good at words. He's like the best at words. It's like amazing. It's like Shakespeare's over the top, on my shoulder.
Words, they're great.
Yeah. Number 40 on my list, which means it's actually not 40. Was actually Genesee Brewing. It's their cream ale and strawberry and lemon, which I actually included my best beers. I think I forgot to take out of that, so we'll just include it here. Strip it out of that, put it in here. It was meant to be in here, not meant to be in the other one, but it was a Shelfie chug.
So what would have been in the other one?
I think I had probably 31, so 30 in the other one. Let's replace it with. Let's think of something off the top of our head. What would I replace the best ofs? I don't know. I don't want to put that much thought.
Probably the other civil disobedience, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Just the other one.
Yeah, the other one. Hill Farm said, "Kick. We're good." There you go. Speaking of.
Oh, what What are we doing?
Yes.
Oh.
No, I'm empty. I need some beer.
Oh.
Gotta wash my glass out first. That's very important for you guys to know. What do we have here, Keith?
We have barrel aged. What is enlightenment?
Which is a.
Is there pale ale?
Yeah, it says pale ale. I'm looking for an ABV on here.
It's 5%. 5?
Does it say?
No. No, but
Sean Hill's like, fuck
you
guys.
actually gave me a can of it. It's like 5%. 6% maybe.
Those fucking Hill Farms that put these little fucking plastic cappy things on there. That's you. The rest is mine.
Fair enough.
That's how you know it's good. Listen. He's like unfrozen caveman lawyer. But when it comes to like beer, he's like, that's good. It's delicious.
You
Oh, that doesn't suck.
You don't have to taste it. Like, yeah.
Okay, we have a video to do. Anyway, that's delicious, by the way.
Oh, it's in wine barrel.
Yeah, that's
oh,
what
I
I'm
didn't
saying.
know that. I thought it was just. Oh.
Anyway. Oh, shit, you traded that for $9 million. Anyway, the next up, I crushed a bunch of this. Now, there comes a couple different reasons why I picked my Shelfie beer reviews. One is it's something I picked up of Shelf, and I enjoy it. He's having
Sorry.
Don't call the cops for convulsions. But there's also this that I can get it, and I can get it whenever I want, and that kind of factors in. And the next one up is Cigar City Brewing's the Guayabera Citra Pale Ale. I drank the shit out of that beer this year. I love that beer. I think, what did I call it? I butcher the name on this beer all the time. I think it's Guayabera. I think it's Gabiera or Gabanera. I called it like 19 different things. I reviewed it this year, but that beer, oh man. Like if I wanted, like I was driving home, there's this like little shitty Hope Liquors. It's like right up the street from me.
There?
Yeah. Yeah. 90% of it I pulled out of it. I would just pull. I'd be driving home and be like, I just want a crushable pale ale. I mean, it's 6 and change, so it's not super low in ABV. But I was like, I don't want a crushable pale ale. I want to drink something. I just want to play video games and crush some like nice, tasty hoppiness. And I would just pick that up. I probably honestly bought like a couple cases of that this year. Just like, okay, at my house, we're having people over, we're having a party, we're having a barbecue. Go get that. I will drink that. Other people will drink that. We're all good. That beer crushed it for me this year. So I was very, very happy to have that at my disposal. Let's put it that way. I kind of want to listen. So next up, let me take a little sippy poo. I'm kind of prepare myself on this one.
Oh. Is the beer good enough? Are you sure?
So I've talked about these videos and talked about my kind of my idea of doing these videos and not having like a 10 through 1 or 1 through 10 kind of thing. If I was going to do the number one Shelfie, like I had to, gun to my head, had to call out one Shelfie that was number one on the list for me, it would be this beer.
You're already at number 1?
No, I'm going through when I reviewed them. But I'm just saying the next beer I'm going to call out is going to be like, if I had to put one number one, it would be this beer. And that would be Harpoon Brewing's Rec League.
Oh.
I fucking love Harpoon Brewing.
Every time I come here, I want to try it, and you don't have it.
Because I drink it all. I drink it all. Listen.
I'm just like, it's a lie. He never has it. I don't think he's ever drank it.
Harpoon Brewing Rec League. I picked up in a mix of 6 from a Wegmans. I think in like late in the season because I think it's like a semi-seasonal. And I picked it up God, what was it? Probably like, I don't know, midsummer, some bullshit time. And I picked it up just to kind of fill out a mix of 6. I was like, yeah, whatever, harpoon, blah, 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 whatever. Fucking throw it in there. Subsequently, I think I picked up from, let's say I picked it up late July. So let's say, you know what I mean, August, September, October, November, December. I probably picked up a 15-pack at least once a month. And just, it comes in a 15-pack. It's $17. It's a hazy IPA. And I just want to drink it all the time. Like, it's exactly, the price point is where I want it to be. The impact is where I want it to be. The ABV, 3.4%, son.
Yeah.
What do you think about Rec League? What do you think about it? You enjoy it?
I've never had it, so it's probably garbage. But...
So what that says, here's the thing. What that says is not so much that I didn't share it with Keith. It's so much that Keith didn't hang out. Because if I have it all the time, no, if I fucking have it all the time, how haven't you had it? It's his fault. Honestly, it's his fault.
I don't live as close as I used to.
That's true.
But I always expected to be here because you're always talking about it.
I've actually opened it and Keith has drank it at my house. He just says,
have I?
Yeah, you have.
It's probably garbage.
93 garbage. Okay, so we are at third of the way through. Let's dive into the comments real quick and see. Can I vouch for that? Beer Patrol is the new Shelfie review spot. You saw it about.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Rough on the Chef. Years ago, I wanted to go there, Cape May, a great wildlife migration spot on the East Coast. Of course, I looked up breweries in the area. Well, didn't go. I don't know. How long does a Guayabera hold up? No dates on the boxes. When I see it, it's like 6+ weeks old. And that's actually how I say it, Guayabera. There is a date. You look. You just have to look long enough. There's some. It's on there because I pick them up and look all the time. I can't tell you exactly where it is, but it's definitely on the carton. So you can find it. You just have to take a peek. And if it's not, just open it the fuck up and look at the bottom of the can. If they say why you open it up and be like, I'm gonna open it up and see if you keep outdated beer in your fucking beer shop, and I'll report you as a fucking ABC or fucking TT beer, some shit like that, and they'll shut up real quick.
Every place like that.
There's something in there. Same question for Rec League, same response for Rec League. There is a stamp on the container because I picked up a Rec League from someplace kind of local, and it was like October. It was dated October or something like that, and I went to somewhere else and it was dated like August, and I was like, okay, I'm like, maybe they kind of stopped producing it for the season. But I went up to like up north in Jersey, up to Newton, to the ShopRite Liquors up in Newton, and I popped in and I was like, okay, Rec League, let me look at it, and it was like a November date. I was like, oh fuck, November date. So there is a dating on the actual box, the carton itself. You just have to kind of find it. It takes a little bit to pick it out because it's not readily apparent, but anyway, good thing it's a Shelfie, Keith, easy to find. Somebody's fucking with you right now. I don't know. You know what that's in reference to, or
because you don't share these apparent
yeah, harpoon.
That they're apparently available everywhere, but you never seem to have any when I'm here.
Because I'm an asshole. That's why. What's next? Fucker. You know what's next? People are gonna get pissed off about this Shelfie.
Am I?
No. The Bissell Brothers Substance.
I have picked that up off the shelf.
That's what I'm saying.
But I saw it once, I picked it up once, and I've never seen it ever again.
Bissell Brothers Substance. Now, the one I reviewed was sent to me.
Did you? Yeah,
but I picked it up a couple times off the shelf this year. You have to go to New York State to get it off the shelf, or north. So if you go to New York, Rhode Island, Connecticut, all those places. You got it in PA? Okay. So it does make itself out there in the wild.
Did you review Baby Genius there?
I didn't. I've never reviewed it. I want to review it.
No.
We talk about it all the time.
That was the other one that I picked up
Mm.
in PA.
Why didn't I get any?
Because I just picked the one. Because it wasn't for me.
I mean, it's so delicious and you love it.
Well, because I had it before and I was like, oh,
see
I
how
love this.
it doesn't go both ways. It's like it's just like, oh, you have that thing.
Oh, I have that multi-partner relationship. I can't keep track.
Fuckers. Anyway, substance. I hadn't had substance actually for almost a year. And someone sent it to me in a beer mill, and I drank it, and I thought it was probably the best Bissell beer I ever had. Like, that good. Like, I drank it, and I was like, this is fucking awesome. I can't believe how good this is. I've been to Bissell. I picked up beers at Bissell. I picked up cases of substance from Bissell when I was there. And it was just so good. So good. And you can get them. That's the thing. It's not super hard to get. Now, granted, you're West Coast, South, Midwest, you might not be able to get it
anywhere other than
but it's like a good northeastern portion of the United States. And it's not a brewery-only beer. That's the whole portion of the show. You have to understand these are beers that you can actually find. Let's say you can't find it where you live. Well, then it's a Shelfie beer where somebody else, if you wanted to trade with, could pick it up. Be like, send me a 4-pack of Bissell. What is it going to cost them? Fucking $13 and a half-mile walk. Like, it's not like they're going to our brewery and whatever. So, anyway. Now we're going to start. We're going to get really old school really quick here. So, fucking buckle your seatbelts because some people get really pissed off. Next up, we have this beer might be like kind of duking it out with Rec League for my favorite Shelfie of the year. That would be Jack's Abbey Brewing and Mickler Brewing. It's their Otis My Man Oated Helles Lager.
I have seen it. I haven't had it.
So good. Is it? Yeah. The fact that he's seen it and hadn't picked it up makes me kind of not like Keith right now. That shit is so good.
I saw it months ago, and I was like, I think this has been on the shelf for a while.
The funny part is I picked it up kind of relative fresh, like a month old. And I was like, this is amazing. Oh. And then 2 months old, I was like, I shouldn't buy that. And then I went, fuck it, I'll buy it anyway. I drank it, and I'm like, it's so fucking amazing. And then like 3 months later, I was like, don't buy it, asshole. I'm like, fucking buy it anyway. I was like, yeah, it's still fucking awesome. So it's a Helles Lager. It's already a Helles Lager. It's not like it's gonna go bad.
Yeah, but I thought it was a collaboration, so I thought it had like some sort of weird shit in it that would have made it.
Yeah, no, I reviewed it. I loved it. Sean, I think it was Sean from Nerd Sense reviewed it. He loved it. Fucking Joe from the Beer Patrol, he reviewed it and he loved it. It's fucking amazing. Even now, like I think if you picked it up now, I think it was brewed in August. It's just me kind of knee-jerk reaction, and it is fucking awesome. So yeah. You're talking about lager, you're talking about a little bit of oats, a little bit of bittering. Smooth sailing, baby. Love that fucking beer. I'll jump into the next one, and then we'll do a little bit of comments. And this one surprised me quite a bit. Samuel Smith's Oatmeal Stout. Good old Sammy Smith's.
Classic.
Yeah, classic. I reviewed it about a month ago, and I was like, this is fucking awesome.
It was a new one.
Probably not. Those beers don't move. It probably wasn't super old, but it was probably a year or two old, I would assume. I don't know what kind of dating they do. Go back and watch my review.
It's weird that they do brew dates on some, but not
others. Yeah. But I love that beer. I mean, that beer was fantastic. I didn't think it was going to be as good as it was when I actually drank it. And it was so fucking good. Like to the point where I was like angry at myself for not drinking it sooner. Let's put it that way. When was the last time you had that one?
The porter?
The oatmeal stout from Sam Smith.
Stout. It's been a while. I got the
couple 2-3 days.
I forget what the one. It wasn't the stout, but I haven't had the stout in a while.
From the mouth of babes. Let's go to comments real quick. We have here. I can vouch for Beer Patrol. Shelfie, something. Probably digging into a bunch of shit I already talked about. Same question. Directly. You got that. How long are they still good? Can't answer that question. If it was in a cooler the whole time or is it on a shelf the whole time, the heat matters. Very hard question to ask.
Is that a thing that you is that a topic that you tackle?
What?
The fact
Shelf
that
stability?
the fact that every craft beer place that sells beer is just on an open shelf and just
Well, that's part of a liquor place's problem, but it's also the brewery's problem. Like, you don't see a good portion of breweries on warm shelves because they police that shit.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's like, like one of my favorite stories to tell is Eddie's Roadhouse. It's a great eatery up in Orange County, New York. They've had Hill Farmstead for quite some time because Sean Hill wouldn't let anybody leave with beer. But when he started to go up there, they're like, okay, you have to show up in a refrigerated truck. So like he forced them to refrigerate shit.
General craft beer.
What about it?
Because I know I follow a few things on Instagram, a few places that are like, oh, this is our craft beer selection, and it's all open shelves. You
choose to have your beer there. So if you're a brewery and you be like, okay, I'm going to go to this place that doesn't refrigerate anything, that's on you. You have to do your math because you're not going to trust. Beer distributors aren't beer connoisseurs; they're used car salesmen. You know what I mean? It's not like this. There's exceptions to the rule. There's people that own bottle shops that are like super ultra beer nerds. When you go to those places, you fucking know it. You can walk in, you see everything's refrigerated that should be refrigerated. There's a great list, and there's like a lot of information, and everybody gives a shit. But then there's people that are just like, this is a money-making thing, and I don't give a shit. Like, let's just fucking sell beer, So, it is what it is. Are you okay with that? Okay. He's okay with that. Anyway, let's go on to the next one. Ooh, burps. We have Archie Bunker asks, do you like Bourbon County this year? We'll get to that a little bit. Pump your brakes, Archie. Calm the fuck down. Don't hurt Mert. Man, the burps are fucking wild right now. Says you got Bourbon County Vertical and the Cafe de Dol for Xmas. I mean, the Bourbon County Vert is kind of overpriced. For me, what was it going for, like $60 or something like that?
You could buy each.
You could go in Pennsylvania and find each one individually off the shelf for like $10. You know what I mean? So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, it's cool. Y'all get them in one package. You get a little bit of someone paid for it. So, but you can get them all. Like, I can go to the Bourbon County Vert right now for like fucking $32. Yeah. Like that. Yeah. Haven't seen it. Didn't get it on the list. Don't know what that means. This is one of the best beer channels. I found you from Treehouse Reviews. Well, thank you very much, Archie. Very cool. I am one of the best, by the way, and very modest. And I see Rec League in the cooler section of grocery stores. Why so handled well there? Guayabera isn't refrigerated at Wegmans. $43 here in Chicago for the Vert Collection. $12.99 for regular Bourbon Counties. So if you're talking about that, you're talking about $13. So you're going 13. You're paying a $6 premium on a vertical. That's not bad. But here in PA, I say PA because I live in Jersey, but you can actually find that shit kind of, a little bit cheaper from time to time. You could probably get it. They're $60 on the shelf, the prepackaged vert, but you can definitely do less than 50 on a natural, like finding a wild kind of vert. So, and we have Mike the Russian A bot says Otis, my man, on the list. Fuck yeah. Dude, Otis, my man, is it's the fucking man. It's so good. Love that fucking beer. I kind of like tipping this glass. I feel like it's going to spill all over the place, but it doesn't. Anyway, let's get back to this list. Let's see what's what on my iPad. And we have, next up, we have super old school status. That would be Anchor Brewing Company's Porter. Anchor Porter. I know it's Joe from Beer Patrol. It's one of his favorite beers in general. It's the beer that got him into beer. The first beer I ever reviewed. And I had not had that beer in super fucking long time. And I went to like a local bottle shop close to me here in Hackettstown-ish area, New Jersey, and they had the Anchor Porter. They had a 6-pack for like $9. I brought it home. I reviewed it, and I fucking loved it. Have you ever had an Anchor Porter?
No.
No? I love that.
I can never find Anchor.
Yeah.
And everyone I know, like you're like, oh, Anchor. It's a Shelfie. And I'm like, all right, I'm just going to go to these 10 bottle shops that I know, and none of them have it. And I'm like, oh, I guess everyone bought it, or everyone's lying, or I have no idea.
It's delicious. Getting close to the end.
What?
Getting close to the end.
Of your list?
Yeah. It's only 10.
Yeah, that's true.
The next one.
Probably should have done this one first.
This is one of the one. No, the long one first. The next one is something I know that people can actually get, but I can't get it locally. And that would be, it's an Ecliptic beer. So Ecliptic sends me beers every now and then. They did this series called 5 Beers, 5 Years, to where they did like collabs with all these kind of like OG breweries. And they did, Brooklyn Brewery, and they did a bunch of other breweries that they did it with. But they did one beer. It was with Russian River, and it was their Belgian Hoppy Blonde. And that beer was like ridiculous good. Like I've had and I've reviewed. You can go back to my catalog, look through my beer reviews, and look at all the Ecliptic stuff I've done. And I really enjoy their beers. But this one was the like next level shit. Maybe it was the Belgian in the beer. Maybe it was the addition of the Vinny, the Russian River in the beer. I don't know. But it was so fucking good. So good. I know the fact that this hit shelves all over the place. I love that beer. Did you love it? Oh, you didn't have it. Oh, you didn't have it.
Yeah, probably because it was another one. You were like, oh, I'm going to open this when you're here. And you're just like, It
was the opposite. It came in one of those like 16.9 ounce bottles, and I was like, it's Ecliptic. They sent me a bunch of stuff for review. I was like, I'll just review this. I'm like, it's gonna be, hopefully it's good. I drank it. I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I was like, this is fucking awesome. It was like a sneaky, delicious beer. Now we're one away from our last one on the bunch. So we have here Archie chiming in and saying, one day I want to go to Boston and visit breweries, especially Trinity and Treehouse. That would not suck. It's a very nice trip. Go to Jack's Abbey when you're out there. Yeah. And go to a couple different places.
You can not go to Trillium.
No, Trillium's good. Why? Yeah. Fuck him. Go to Trillium.
Yeah. Are they better now? Do they treat their employees better? Do they treat their employees better? Sorry, I'm getting political. I've had I've had 2 tree beers.
Two tree beers. The 2 tree trilliums. And then we have Mike the Russian bot, Anchor Porter, thumbs up. Fuck yeah, motherfucker. We have Caleb M saying, what is the worst beer of the year? What's your worst beer of the year?
Worst beer?
Should we open the worst beer of the year?
You want to do it?
Look how excited he is right now.
You want to do it? Do you want to finish this and then we'll do the worst beer of the year?
Open it now. The funny part is this beer
Do you
might
want-
not be
do-
bad.
Do you want to give a backstory and or whatever?
Do you want to give it?
I don't want to give it.
Okay.
You're better at giving it.
Okay. So my worst beer of the year before this one. I'm trying to think. It was probably, honestly, I'm not, and this is not a cop out for me, but it was probably some homebrew. Like we had some, like that one, didn't we have some poopy stuff on our trip up north? The one place we went to, the one beer was good, the one was pretty poopy.
Up north?
Yeah, when we went to Hell Farmstead.
Oh, the beer diviner?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that was pretty poopy.
It was fine.
One was fine. Yeah, then I
only had one,
another one,
so-
and it was pretty poopy. There's been some pretty poopy stuff along the way, but we're open right now. It's probably going to be a decent beer. I'm guessing this is going to be decent.
I haven't treated this bottle well. Like I haven't treated it well. It's been.
By that
it's
it means it's been on like the top of the catalytic converter in his car while he's driving around. So this
It's
is
been,
Swamp Witch from Soul Artisan Ale. So for those that don't know who Soul Artisan Ales is, even if this beer is good, it's going to be shit because the owner's fucking just hot garbage. What is this again? What is the basis of this beer?
This is a Imperial Stout, I believe. It is a cedar ferment. Oh, you're gonna try it first. Cedar fermented Imperial Stout, spiced with nutmeg and conditioned on maple syrup.
Okay.
And this bottle is 3
years old?
4 plus, or 3+ years old.
So if you guys don't remember, like about 2 years ago, one of the last beers I reviewed from Soul, it's actually tasty. It's not a bad beer. Was their Floating World. Floating World from Soul was really bad. It tastes like bile, like stomach bile.
I so wanted to try those last beers.
Yeah.
So that's for another time.
And that's how Keith and I met, was going from the Soul
yeah.
Soul beer review or beer releases, and we started hanging out and stuff like that. And this is from, we said, about 3 years ago. It's actually kind of really tasty beer. It's good. Like,
It's
can you call out anything negative about this beer?
no. And considering the way I've treated this bottle, even in the last 6 months.
So
yeah.
So in the grand scheme of things, this beer is not a bad beer. And I've had worse tasting beers over the past year, from a couple different breweries. You know, there's been some ones that I've had that I've reviewed that I've chosen not to post because I'm just a nice guy from time to time.
It's also a collaboration with Ultramance, which I believe is a band or something.
Yeah.
Hipster
shit.
I don't.
ABV
is 13.666.
There you go. Trying to be cool. And I'm trying to think of a really bad beer I have this year. That's the part that I'm really kind of upset about because I haven't had. I'm like trying to think of one that really kind of pissed me off. You know what? This year I did a beer review of. So there was a promotional company that contacted me about a beer, and it was Arcadia Brewing was the name of the brewery, but it wasn't their brewery. They made a beer from Motorhead, like Lemmy from Motorhead. They did a beer that was a Motorhead beer.
In my experience, every brewery that does a collaboration with a band, that beer is not good.
Yeah, but this is extra special, Dad.
Oh.
So that would probably be
okay.
the worst one. I can just recall off the top of my head. But in the grand scheme of things, like this beer is like tasty. This actually is pretty delicious stuff. It's nice. It's a little oxidative, has a little bit of dryness, wet paper, stuff like that. But I'm okay with that being a 3-year-old beer. But it's still kind of like a negative beer because it's made by the owner. The owner is one of the worst people in the history of beerdom. Does not care about the beer community in any form or fashion. Is in for it just himself in all form and fashion. Has pivoted his brewery from being called Soul to Separatist. Now he calls it Separatist, which is like Nazi level shit
beer
project. Which is like he made some excuse up about him being a cease and desist from Soul Lager, which is total bullshit. He just he had so much bad blood for his brewery.
And I just want to say that I wouldn't say I'm very political in my personal life, but like I pay attention to political stuff, and I don't know of any situation where separatist is used in
that's like Star Wars Rebels, like Empire shit. That's like Emperor Palpatine's gonna be like, you're a separatist.
Separatist is not used in a
positive light.
In any
there's no one fighting for the people saying I'm a separatist. No.
Right. That's exactly right. Like separatist is not a positive. I want to word it a different way, but like it's not a good name. It's not a good like. It's also a touchy subject, so I'm a little.
It is because the grand scheme of things, there's a whole rigmarole about why this dude sucks and everything's poopy and all that kind of fun stuff. But in the grand scheme of things, like the dude's not a good person and he fucked a lot of people over and did all that kind of stuff. So it's like even when you drink a beer that's like nice and okay and well made and not a bad beer, it still leaves a bad taste in your mouth. And that's and like I have this conversation a lot of times with a lot of brewery owners and brewers, because there's definitely a difference between those two. There's a lot of brewery owners who are separated from brewers and are just like, well, you're making good beer. I understand that. And in the core grand scheme of things, it's very important that you make really good beer, because if you don't make good beer, you have nothing to stand on. But if all you do is make good beer, then that's not a good thing either. You have to be at least halfway decent, like person. Like if you're just like a piece of shit that makes good beer, it just ends up being a super. It's poopy. It's poopy. It's poopy all around. So anyway, I gotta take a pee. I'm gonna go take a pee.
Oh.
And then we're gonna come back, and then we're gonna do our last of the Shelfies, and then we're gonna chug a couple beers and go do all that kind of stuff. No, you're gonna be on camera. You have to talk to people.
Oh,
that's what you have
to do. You're not gonna. Yeah,
no, I'm not gonna stop it. You have to do your own thing. You have to talk to people. Keith is gonna keep you entertained.
You're about to get the most views you've ever had.
Oh yeah. Let's see. What do we have right now? We have 12. Let's see what it's like when we get back. We have 12.
Oh, I'm sorry, everyone. Apologies ahead of time. All right. So what are we talking about? We can go to comments. All right. Sources. So the next Budweiser. I don't know what that is in reference to. I'm from Nashville. Beer Iris and Southern Grist are world class. I unfortunately haven't had either one of those, but I think Matt has, and I believe he has enjoyed beers from both of those breweries. Mine was some Canadian Imperial Stout, the only prominent notes being licorice and violet. I would love any beer. Whether it's Matt. I would enjoy.
What's the count at? 10. You lost 2. Get over. We're losing everybody here.
To be fair,
what were you talking about?
They left like right when you were like, "I gotta go pee," and then they're out.
Like my chair is like caught. Like, there you go. Anyway.
Oh, 13 now.
And you see what happens? I'll come back immediately. 13. Really got that massive beers up in this piece. What are you clicking on, shit?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Nothing. Don't hurt Mert.
Worst
Said
style.
Budweiser. I didn't know what they were talking about.
I'm from Nashville. Bearded Iris and Southern Ghost
I said that you
world class. I'm not a big bearded Iris guy.
Oh, I lied. I lied to them. I said you've had both. Some stuff from both of them, and I think you enjoyed them. But...
Yeah, I'm not a big bearded Irish guy. Mine was some Canadian Imperial Stout with only prominent notes of licorice and violets.
I want all beers to have licorice and violets in them.
Speaking of, do y'all like Star Wars? I love Star Wars. I no spoilers because I haven't actually watched anything, but I am encouraging my wife to watch Star Wars. She hasn't watched it before. We actually watched episode 4 and 5. We're gonna watch 6, go back to the prequels, do the whole thing. So I'm actually not gonna watch the newest one until we get through all those.
I don't care about Star Wars. If you're gonna get Disney Plus, watch 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and watch Brink, and then cancel your subscription.
Well,
which you should be able to do in a free trial, so you shouldn't even give them any of your money. But that's just me.
Then we have Hatchy Malachi. Hatchy Malachi chiming in, saying, "Did you finish Jedi Fallen Order?" I have not. I am slowly working my way through it. I played a bit last night. I didn't play a little bit the night before. I would play a little bit tonight, but this guy's gonna be sleeping on my couch, so I'm gonna fall asleep watching 30 Rock or some bullshit. So anyway, what are you drinking now?
This is what's enlightenment. What is that?
So Keith has like 3 different. Like this is me.
That isn't mine.
This is me.
That isn't mine. That is yours.
That's you, dude. That's not me.
What is that?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, this is my coconut water. Oh, that's what it is.
He's like, that's you. I was like, dude, I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
Coconut pineapple water.
What vintage?
Stay hydrated.
Okay. So.
Oh, we're on the last one.
Right, and we have Mike the Russian bot. Separatist gets used to some.
Gets exactly.
Used by some neo-Nazis. Yeah, that's the thing.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
That is the most prominent use of that word. Like Nazis are you. I don't even want to talk about it because it makes me upset. I am very upset right now.
So Archie asks, favorite beer reviewer on YouTube. Can't pick yourself. Who'd you pick?
Ever since YouTuber Palooza, I've been watching basically you and Kyle and NerdSense and Joe, basically equally.
Yeah.
I mean, before August, I would say Matt, but yeah. Now I basically watch the 3 for you.
Top 3 for me would be Joe from the Beer Patrol. He's my favorite. And then second would be.
Are we rating?
No.
Oh, because I would say Joe because he hates himself as much as I do. He hates himself as much as I hate myself. So.
Rating that hate, apparently. Yeah, Rob.
Joe, I love you.
Joe Beer Patrol, Rob from Hopzine, and Peter from Esther Hoppets. Those are probably my favorite. Archie's like Ronald, Therio, and Greg's beer reviews are top 3. So me, Ron, and Greg. I'm not a big fan of Ron or Greg, but that's some people like cucumbers pickled. So last Shelfie, we went over the ecliptic. Last Shelfie of the year. We have a little bit of my favorite Shelfie of this year, one of the better ones, and this chimes back to Archie Bunker, Bourbon County. Bourbon County has solidified itself, has moved, has shuttled, has shifted itself. No,
they're paying him to say that.
Nope. Nope. Has shifted from a coveted beer to now a Shelfie beer. I can get Bourbon County whenever I want.
Oh yeah.
Like, and not just whenever I want, like vintages, variants, just on the shelf whenever I want, like at all times.
I was
like,
just kidding. They're not paying him to say that.
crack open that Bourbon County then.
Oh.
He was supposed to do this when I talked about that.
Oh. I don't recognize cues very well. So
or P's or W's or anything. Like
yeah.
That. So we're gonna be doing, what is this?
This is the 2017 Bourbon County Reserve.
Knob Creek.
Knob Creek.
Knob Creek. So let's crack into some Knob Creek. So for our AB InBev Shelfie version of the night.
I don't know if this was a Shelfie. I don't.
It was. It found shelves. I saw it on shelves. I'm not saying you picked it up off the shelf. I'm not saying it lasted on the shelf.
Oh,
okay. But did you go to Bourbon County and buy this?
No.
Where'd you buy it?
I got it from a charity raffle.
Okay. Oh,
there was a charity.
That NEPA raffle. That's where you were. I was at the drawing.
There was a
when I did the live raffle with Tom.
There was a charity raffle, and this is where I got that, and I've had it ever since because I was like, I don't want to drink this by myself.
Well, I'm going to drink it all, so you still don't have to drink it by yourself.
Oh, come on. All right.
So yeah, that's my top 10. So we're talking about Old Nation M43, Jenny Cream Ale with strawberry and lemon, Cigar City Guayabera, Harpoon City Reckley, which is probably my number 1. Bissell Brothers Substance, Jack Abbey's and Mickler Otis by Man, CML Smith's Oatmeal Stout, Anchor Brewing Company Porter, Ecliptic, Russian River, 5 years, 5 beers, Belgian Hompy, Blonde, and AB InBev, Goose Island, Bourbon County. That's good Shelfie status right there. Oh, that's delicious. That's delicious. Actually, Focus is way better than I thought it would. Yeah.
It's way more bourbon than I want than stout, and I don't understand why breweries want their beers to be more barrel than stout. Sorry, I got excited for a second.
So aggressive. So aggressive.
Even after 2+ years of just hanging out on a fucking shelf, but.
So there you go. This guy. Where did we go wrong? If you watch my reviews, if you watch Keith's reviews on 93 Lumber, like what did we miss something? Or was there something you're like, oh my God, man? I don't know.
Oh, you're asking.
I'm asking the people. Okay. Like, did we miss something? Was there something I'm like, oh my God, I thought this was definitely going to be in your list of best Shelfies? I mean, outside of this one, Tiny House and a couple other beers that made it in my best of list I didn't want to put in this list. Those kind of things. Is there something that you would have liked to see?
It's hard to say because it's hard to say from a personal stance from someone who doesn't review beers, because I could be like, oh, there was this beer on the shelf and I fucking love that, and I didn't review it because I don't review beers. And there could be a lot of that, but I'm going to abstain from that because obviously I know that we're on a different medium than what I am used to. I'm actually a little uncomfortable right now.
Science. So there you go. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the Shelfies. Hopefully, you enjoyed the master list. You want to hang out for a bit, or you don't want? What do you want to do?
Oh, okay.
We'd sit here for 5 hours, but that might turn into something pretty fantastic. Okay, let's put it this way. Let's shift. We're gonna do it, but Anyway, let's shift the script here. If you guys have any questions for us right now, let us know. We'll answer what we can. Go through there. We'll chime through the comments, see what's what. You can say, hey, you can ask us questions, get our opinions, do whatever you want to do. So let's go to comments right now. So let's jump into the comments here. Not the best marketing compared to Separatist. He was talking about that. Favorite beer reviewer on YouTube. We already covered that portion of the show. You talked about me, Montherio, and Greg's beer reviews. I said, yeah, I'm all for me. Love heavy bourbon notes and stouts. I can get down with that. I love it. I love it. Here we have Pressman saying, have you had Dragon's Milk's Reserve Triple Mash? Had my first tonight, 3 years old, 17%. I've had a ton of Dragon's Milk, but I have not had that version. A triple mash, what does that mean? In the grand scheme of things, who knows?
I think triple mash means like they
well, yeah, but
they mash, and it basically means like super ABV, and then they do whatever with it. So it's like higher ABV stuff, and then which would understand 17%. Yeah.
Well, when you brew beer, you make what's called wort. When you have wort, you basically take a bunch of grain, you have a bunch of hot water, you let it steep, you let it drain. Okay, when they're talking about a triple mash, they're usually either talking about sparging, which is taking that fluid, running it back through the grain again 3 times, or they're actually doing the letting it drain and then adding more grain, letting it steep again, going through whatever. It is what it is. It's another catchword, like dry hopping, double dry hopping, all that stuff. So anyway, I have not had it, but in the grand scheme of things, I really do enjoy Dragon's Milk. In general, I think it's one of the better bourbon barrel-aged imperial stout Shelfies that you can get, period. So I'm sure it's pretty delicious. We have Hatchy Malachi chiming in. There's a new Shelfie breakfast stout from Flying Dog called Operation Breakfast. That is delicious. I will take your word at that. Proclamation Derivative Series. I like Proclamation. I like their beers. When that's a Shelfie, we're doing well. Caleb asks, most underrated brewery.
Bond place.
Besides Bond.
Conclave?
Besides Conclave.
Manskirt?
Besides, no, seriously. Because honestly, like Bond and Conclave would probably, like, they wouldn't be underrated to my viewers because I talk about them all the time.
The most underrated.
For me, it'd be Russian Duck. Only because of this reason. Is because no one ever talks about them. I can go there and get a Kolsch, and go there and get a Brett Saison. I can go there and get a hazy, a pale hazy, a triple IPA, and one of the better barrel-aged beers I've ever had. So it's not like, oh, they make a really good beer, I want to go there. Like, you can get like any beer you want there, and it's not just going to be okay, it's going to be delicious.
Oh, in that case, Hill Farm's dead. No one knows who they are. Don't.
So funny.
If you're not saying I can't say Bond, and I can't say the other one.
No, you can say whoever you want. I was just having a conversation. If you want to say Bond, say Bond. I know he loves Bond. I love Bond.
Yeah. Bond. I'm trying to think of maybe a little beer.
I know what the answer is. The funny part is he's not saying it.
What is it?
It's some weird brewery out like in Midwest Michigan or something that we've actually never had before that he wants me to visit.
Fucking Hammerheart or whatever it is. Yeah, that place.
We've never had it before, but he's like,
no,
we need to go there now.
I've had one beer from them, and it was a Rosh beer. and it was or basically it was smoked beer from Hammerheart, yeah, Hammerheart in Minnesota. They're in Minnesota somewhere. They're in like some log cabin in the middle of the woods. something. I have no idea anything about them. I just had one beer from them, and like I want to. And half of the beer they brew is smoked, so I'm just like, that's my brewery. That's me.
We have Lee Russell, the king of beer tube, by the way.
Oh.
Cheers, Matt. Hope the holidays are treating you well. Cheers to you, Lee. Thank you very much for stopping by. We have Mike, the Russian bot. Keith, what did you get the most of? Would that be number one? You decipher that. I have no idea what he's talking about. Keith, what did you get the most of? Would that be number one? I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either.
Yeah, clarify. Anyway, while you clarify, Mike, the Russian bot. What was the best last beer you were hyped, but it turned out a dud? So a beer you had that people said this is going to be awesome, and you're like, yeah, that's kind of fucking meh. Third of the hazies. Three quarters of it.
Do you want to tread on sacred ground here, or like, are we talking about
anything? Like, just speak.
Are you talking about when we went to FOFA and everybody was saying Being in Time was the best beer there, and it was possibly the not even close to the best beer there?
That was a big one. Like, here's the thing.
You're talking about?
He actually asked what was the last beer, but if you're talking about the one that was hyped the most, like the one that was like
that was the hype the most.
Like no. He's asking what was the last beer you had that was hyped. Beer that you had that was hyped. You're asking what was the last beer that you had, or was the most hyped beer?
What was the last beer you were hyped for, but it turned out a dud? Probably that beer.
I wasn't hyped for that beer, so it probably wouldn't classify.
Well, everyone made me hyped for that beer. It was like, everyone.
Explain to him what that was.
So at FOFA,
Festival of Farmhouse Ales, Hill Farmstead Festival they hold in Hill Farmstead.
And basically in that community, basically the oldest beer is basically the most hyped beer. And so they were doing bottle pours of Time and Being, I believe it was called. And it was, I believe it was brewed in 2012, if I remember. And I think it was not the best beer at FOFA. And I recall through myself and other people saying, "Oh, that was the best beer," but it was not. And I feel like that was the
point where
hyped beer that I like. Also, I don't do beer reviews or anything like that, so most of the stuff I come from just comes from personal whatever, and that was the most. I can't think of anything else. Like, that was like the most thing that people were like, "Oh, fucking Time and Being, it's the best fucking beer." Oh, what?
Didn't we get in line with somebody else and they actually asked what was your favorite, and we're like, oh, I don't know, this and that, and they're like, Time and Being, and we're like, yeah, that's the worst one we had, and they're like, fuck you. Someone was actually like angry that we said it.
It wasn't even the worst. It was just not the best. And people were just like, "Oh, it's the oldest beer here, so it's the best." And it's not the same thing. It's old doesn't mean good. Old does not mean good. regardless of the. I'm not saying that sometimes it doesn't relate to other beer styles.
I will
beers.
I will pile
or whatever.
I will pile
But-
on this. I will pile on Hill Farmstead.
Okay.
I'm gonna pile on Hill Farmstead right now and say that their canned lagers, their draft lagers are fucking epic.
Oh, yeah.
But their canned lagers are something to be worked on.
That's because they don't can their draft lagers. The draft lagers are not the same as their
Well,
canned
then
lagers.
that's their fault.
Yeah, but it's not. They're not the same.
Same one. Are they
They're
lagers?
not the same
Are they
beers.
lagers?
No, but they're not the same beers. So like,
Are they lagers?
No, but I'm saying
No,
They-
you're saying no, they're not lagers. That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying
are they lagers? You're saying no, they're
I'm-
not lagers.
I'm saying that their can lagers are just lagers that they brew.
Are they lagers?
Their draft lagers. No, because they do fucking weird stuff with their draft lagers.
Or the,
Like the draft lagers are like legit, like they're like, oh, we Krausenlagen or Krausenlagen. Oh fuck.
my brain hurts right now.
Yeah, my brain
Are,
hurts too.
are the canned or their canned lagers lagered? Are the draft lagers lagered?
Yeah, but they're like in wood and stuff. But they do
It doesn't
like
matter. It doesn't matter.
they do like weird shit to their draft stuff.
Well then, anyway,
It's the same, but it's not the same.
Yeah, I'm running off.
We-
Anyway,
Agree to disagree?
no. Agree to agree. You agree to my agree. Pressman says enjoyed the barrel aged 1050 the most this year. Haven't cracked it 19 BCBS.
How's YouTube feel about fist fight right now?
I mean, 1050 is great fucking beer. That's all I know.
Is it really though?
Yes. Do you drink bourbon after having so many barrel aged beers? No.
No. I don't
No.
drink bourbon.
What are we, crazy? Anyway, Keith said he could name his top shelfie.
Yeah, that's because my top shelfies are nothing anyone could get because they're all super local. Because I don't do beer reviews and I don't.
No, he's not saying anything about the fact that you just said he could do it. You explained to them that you were going to do it. Like, not that you should or could or would.
I would say, I guess you could get a bomb place. Mooey is a shelfie. Baby Genius, Bissell Brothers is another shelfie that I have picked up, which is awesome. What else? Industrial Arts. I forget what it was. There was an Industrial Arts. Don't drink the rest of that. You owe me the rest of that because my top shelfie. I don't like being called on spot. I had a really good short beer from Jersey Girl,
There you go.
which I picked up.
Done and done. Next question. He said he couldn't name his top shelfie, so trying to give him a possible direction to answer.
Oh.
So this is like he's directing you here. Pacoma,
yeah, but what's the
Pacoma.
direction?
No,
What-
no, we're over that. Anyway, ever
yeah.
get bummed going to a new brewery and it's essentially just the version of big beer? I don't expect to have nothing but. See, here's the weird thing, because Pacoma, you're talking about me walking in the brewery and they just have like adjunct lager or 50% barrel aged stouts. If I walked in a brewery and they had all adjunct lager or all lager and then barrel aged stouts, I'd be ecstatic. I'd be ecstatic
Yeah.
because then you're eliminating fruited Berliner, fucking hazies, and fucking pastry stout. Like the places like I have awesome lager for you to drink for 5 fucking hours, and then when you're done, I have 9 barrel aged fucking monsters for you to fucking seal the deal. I would be ecstatic.
Though it does get.
But that's the exception, not the rule. Like he's saying, basically there's adjunct pilsner, and then there's barrel aged stout. To me, it's the opposite. When I walk into a brewery in the United States, and you might be somewhere else, but when I walk into a brewery in the United States, it's 18 New England IPAs, 1 brown ale, 1 fucking stout, and then that's it. Like it's all hazies.
Yeah. If they don't have that, that's a plus.
And that's a good thing. And what he's saying is, ever get bummed to go to a brewery and it's essentially just their version of big beer, Miller, Busch, Coors, which is, Pilsner, lager, all that stuff. And I don't expect all to have nothing but 15% ABV bourbon barrel aged stouts. So maybe he's saying, I want bourbon barrel aged stouts, but all I'm getting is lager. I can appreciate that kind of context. But it's kind of a nice kind of balance between the two. So if I walk into a brewery, and the reason why I kind of like champion Russian Duck as one of my favorite breweries of all time is because I can get a Kolsch, I can get a Pilsner, I can get a lager, I can get a Berliner, I can get a Belgian double, a Belgian quad, a Belgian triple, hazies, the whole 9, to a really well done cultivated barrel aged program with stouts in between. I'm almost assured to get something really nice. That's why I dig them. Now, most people really dig on breweries kind of doing what they like. So you're talking about breweries that just produce hazies or just produce pastry stouts and all that stuff. And people, that's what they love. So for example, all they love is candy tasting pastry stouts. Well, then I gravitate to that brewery and that's all they really love. And yada, yada, yada. Most breweries kind of skew towards what people really dig. And a lot of other people, but I, on the other hand, really dig on variety and having the spice of life. And that's what I dig on. So.
Yeah.
He's the fucking best in the biz, man. Best in the biz, man. Best in the fucking biz.
Yeah.
There you go. Anyway, we have Mike the Russian bot. He said he couldn't name his top Shelfie, so trying to give him a possible direction to answer. Oh, he's answering something. No, don't worry about it. I deleted the first 1-2 comments, but maybe you can't see that. Subsequently, trying to make it more clear. So the thing I'm confusing you about, he's trying to fix, but which is making me more confused. So we'll go on from that. Oh, good answer. There you go, buddy. Good answer. We're all good. And then Sal Rodriguez says, what's an old favorite that has stood the test of time? What's an old favorite that has suffered either from production changes or palate change?
Can I say I know what the second, I would say Thomas Hardy would be your second.
He knows. So Keith knows. So Thomas Hardy is the answer to my question for that one. It's not so much that it's changed over time, is that it's changed hands. And it has changed over time because Thomas Hardy Ale has changed from O'Hanlon Brewery to, why am I not remembering the other brewery? But it's changed hands over time. But the brewery has stayed relatively the same over time. It's just that age has really been the factor in that. So when, I grab a Thomas Hardy now, it was brewed in 2016, and I drank it, and I'm like, okay, that's tasty. It just doesn't have the impact of depth or, the things that really enjoy about Thomas Hardy. Well, no shit, Sherlock. All the Thomas Hardys I've had, because it stopped being produced in 2008, kind of, lost a little bit of luster. So that's a really kind of, okay, it hasn't really aged all that well, but at the same time, why would it? What's the one that has changed the most over the years? What do you think? Like a beer that you like definitively you were like, this is different. I liked it and hated it, or vice versa. I hated it, I liked it.
It's hard to tell because breweries change their recipes, kind of. There have been a lot of beers where I was like, "Oh, this is really good," and then literally the next batch is like, "This isn't even anywhere near what I thought would be that beer."
Yeah, it's a hard one.
I'm assuming you went on the Thomas Hardy.
Yeah, I already talked about it.
Yeah, okay. I assume that Thomas Hardy would be in this country. So.
In the grand scheme of things, knee jerk. Let's talk about a beer that has changed in a positive way or a negative way. I don't know. I still can't answer. So there's your answer. I don't know. Pressman says, I ask because a few channels have had bourbon candy stouts and they have samples of bourbon. He's talking about bourbon and beer. We don't do that shit here. Ever heard of South County? No. And Pressman says, well, Trap Quad, a favorite of your. I assume that's a favorite of yours. The Trap Quad is probably my favorite Belgian quad of all time.
Why are we getting shitty on quads right now?
What else you
I
got?
don't have any quads.
What else you got? Anything good?
I don't have anything more. Do I have anything more? Yes. Do I have anything more? No.
The Trap Quad is one of my favorite. It's a super banana.
I have just basic Florence. This year's the last batch. Holy shit! That's all I have. I have this fucking treehouse stout. You took me for all I was worth. You took me. I hope I'm getting paid for this appearance.
You sure you want to open a 5.2% alcohol beer?
Oh yeah, no. I was gonna open it by myself. Either way, it was either you or me.
See how much of this Keith gets.
That's why I don't come here and drink beers, because he steals all my beer. I'm surprised why his YouTube / you literally take all my beer. You took all my beer, didn't you? Oh no, that's fine.
That's like 9 times larger than the one I have. Like, no, put that here. No, look. Like he's trying to be like this glass is like 18 times larger.
You got all the good stuff. It's the same glass. You're saying?
No, it's not. Yeah. No, it's not, dude.
It's the same. No, you. Oh, Jesus, he's trying to pour. No.
See, you fucked it up. You fucked it up. You fucked it up. You fucked it up. It's a way bigger glass.
Dude, it's the same fun.
No.
It's the same fun. Oh, can I get some? I'm just gonna take that. Oh, is this the shit show you were trying to get it to be? Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I'm tired. I feel like this is Florence bottle date July 13th, 2019. I feel like people who are like, oh, Florence is better than Arthur, is better than Anna, is better than whatever. It's the same fucking thing. I don't know. It's all really good. Oh, are you recording right now? Oh shit. Oh. Yeah. Hill Farmstead is the best beer ever. Is the Florence. We're drinking Florence right now.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's the best beer I've had ever. What?
We're going to do a lightning round. Round on questions real quick, and then we're done.
Oh.
Okay. First off, the Trap Quad, favorite of yours? Yes. We're going to go up. What beer did you expect to dislike, but I really blew you away?
Fofa is like a really like. I feel like Fofa was like a really like.
Not your father's root beer. What's next?
Don't.
Recently had an Iron Celebrator.
I do not condone that. I do not.
Recently had an Iron Celebrator that you have mentioned. Great beer.
Oh,
beer is fucking awesome.
I do enjoy Celebrator. Yes.
The amount of wheeze laughs tonight. That's for you. And next up, last but not least, best year round and always available Shelfie or even Paladie. I don't know what Paladie is Bell's Two Hearted. Official, both available 24 packs. Both have been great gateway craft beers. Listen, Bell's Two Hearted is a great beer, but Shelfie, I would. It's a Shelfie beer, but honestly, I would pick up like Two Hearted like maybe once a year, because that's like 9% alcohol by volume. Like I don't want to fuck with that shit. Like I'll pick up fucking Miller High Life before I pick that shit up. Like, and that's not a matter of like Miller High Life being a better beer, and like Two Hearted is a great beer, but I don't want to drink 4-pack of 9% fucking IPA.
I would only get Bell's Two Hearted on craft and small pour.
Yeah, so there you go. And last but not least, we have Andrew chiming in. Andrew Spies, you ever done Big Beer's Belgian Barley Wine Fest? That festival wrecks me every year. No. But it sounds like exactly what we want. We want all the big beers and Belgians and barley wines and fests.
I know.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. There you go. So Shelfie's over. Top's over. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We did. We're gonna go chug some more beers, hang out, watch a little bit of TV, do our thing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the hangout. Hopefully you guys are enjoying some good beers right now. And hopefully see you next time. Peace. Peace.